Hey guys, this is Caleb here at Barbee Jackson Insurance. We did a video a number of years ago showing you how to register for your own DOT number online. That video has become a little bit dated. It's a few years old, so we wanted to make a new video today that kind of shows you how to set up your own DOT and register for your DOT online. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to be going through a scenario registering for a DOT as if I'm a long haul trucker running out of Florida, hauling general freight. And we're going to just start from the top here. So the first place you would go in your browser is motus.dot.gov. It's going to drop you on this landing page where you have two ways to sign in. You can either sign in as the regulated entities and supporting companies or as an FMCSA user. You want to choose the regulated entities, which as a trucker, that will be what you are. When you click sign in, you're going to have to sign in using your login.gov sign in. If you don't have one of those, once you hit the sign in link there, it's going to pull up a next page and it's going to either ask you to put in your login.gov username and password or create an account. If you haven't created an account, I would just pause this video now, click the sign in to login.gov blue link right here, and then go ahead and create your login.gov account, and then just meet me back once you're done on the next page. So I'm going to click sign in to login.gov. It's already got my information in there because I just signed it a moment ago in preparation for this video. But if I hadn't have already signed in, it would have just asked me for a username and a password on login.gov. And as soon as I put that in, it should drop you right on this homepage. So this is the Motus USDOT registration system homepage. And you can tell right here in the middle is where you register for a new DOT number. Select this option if you are registering with the FMCSA to obtain a USDOT number, operating authority, or other types of registration. So we're just going to go ahead and start registering, get started, and kind of show you guys page by page what this looks like. So here we go. We're starting out. We're going to input our business name and start and our address and phone numbers. And I'm just going to start from the top here. We're going to make up a fictitious trucking company called ABC Trucking LLC. And if we were ABC Trucking LLC doing business as Caleb Trucking or something of that sort, we would add a DBA here, but I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to do ABC Trucking LLC. We're going to say we're operating out of the United States. Our principal place of business, we're going to use our office number. Use my office number for both of these. Call me if you need a quote. That's the number. All right, for my email, at barbeejackson.com. Put our email address in. The next place is going to ask you for your principal place of business address. This address is pretty important. So if you're a trucker and if you don't have like your own office or your own little warehouse or something set up where you park your truck, if you actually just operate out of your home, this address will simply be your home address. For today, I'm going to use my office address. All right, for some reason, it's unable to find this address. I had this happen to me before. I don't know why, but if it does this to you, the workaround is you just go here and you click no USPS match, and it'll say FMCSA verification required. And it asks you to drop a document into this box. It says the address provided cannot be verified by the USPS. Please provide a recent document such as a utility bill or government issued letter showing the current address. Well, I'm just going to take from my document bank here and drop it in a document that I know has our address on it. It uploads it there as a PDF, and then it will let you move along. Is the mailing address the same as the principal place of business address? I'm going to say yes for this application. If you needed to put a different mailing address in here than the address you listed up top, then you would say no and input your new mailing address here. But for today, we're just going to go with the office address. Government identifier, they want either an EIN or a social security number. I'm going to tell it today that we're using our EIN, and I'm just going to make up a fictitious EIN for today. 1, 2, 8, 2, 6. I'm not going to put a Dun & Bradstreet number in. If you don't have one, if you're not sure, you don't have to put anything in there. The form of business, we're an LLC. If you were a different type of corporation or if you were a sole proprietor, this is where you would denote that, but we're going to tell it we're a limited liability company and we're incorporated out of the state of Florida. So now it says at least one individual must be added to proceed. This is either if you were an individual, you would be the sole proprietor, or if you're a partnership, or if you're an LLC, you're going to have either owners or partners or officers. So I'm just going to add myself as the only officer of the LLC today. So we're going to do me. And I'm going to say I'm the owner of the business. We're going to use the office number again. All right, we've got our primary information in here. I'm the primary officer. We're going to hit next. It's going to drop us back to this page we were on just to verify everything again. All that looks good. It now should show me listed as the officer, and I am there. It's asking for supporting documentation such as a federal tax ID letter or the IRS state incorporation documents and business licenses. If you have any of those documents, it may be a good idea to drag and drop them in here for your application. I'm not going to worry about locating those today. But I would say if you've incorporated or if you have an LLC, then you should have some documentation, and I would definitely drag and drop that in there. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next page. It does take a minute to catch up. So as you guys click next, don't think it's frozen. It's just a little bit slow. But that's the FMCSA website for you. It does that sometimes. On this next page, it's asking you who's going to be completing the application. If you're watching the video, I'm assuming you're probably doing it yourself. But if you've hired someone to do this as a service or something like that, they would use the second option. But we're just going to say we're completing it ourselves. Registration type. Are you a U.S. federal, U.S. state, or U.S. local government agency? I am not. This next section says, what type of registration do you need? Select all that apply. You really should, if you're a true just a standard carrier where you're hauling for hire, but you're not hiring people to haul under you, you're not brokering loads, you're not forwarding loads, and you're not dealing in shipping containers and stuff like that, you're almost always going to choose the motor carrier US and Canada. I am a business or individual that transports goods or passengers using trucks or other motor vehicles. Broker and freight forwarder both have to do with you having either broker authority or freight forwarding authority that would allow you to subcontract out loads under your business name, and that's usually not something you would want to do if you're just a standard for-hire carrier. So we're going to choose motor carrier US and Canada, and we're going to go to the next page. It's going to ask us a few questions here about the type of motor carrier we are. If you haul hazmat, if you're a household goods mover, basically you're a house mover, or you carry passengers, you definitely need to select these three, or whatever applies. For today, I'm saying we're a general freight hauler out of Florida doing long haul, so we're just going to choose carrier of property. I'm transporting a wide range of goods or commodities, but I'm not a moving company. This is just reiterating what we just chose on the last page, and everything here looks good. Are you U.S. federal or state agency? No. And what type of registration do you need? Motor carrier. What type of motor carrier are you? Carrier of property. So we're going to go ahead and next to the next page here. This is an important question. Do you engage in interstate commerce, meaning your business activities involve the movement of property or passengers from one state to another? We're going to say yes today because, again, I'm setting this up as a long-haul general freight trucker out of Florida, so the answer to that would be yes. How does your company provide transportation services as a property carrier? Exclusively for-hire carrier, exclusively a private carrier, or for-hire and a private carrier? For-hire carrier is pretty self-explanatory. If you're exclusively a private carrier, you transport property and do not receive direct or indirect compensation. We're going to say we're exclusively a for-hire carrier today. Do you operate commercial vehicles with a gross vehicle weight or gross combined vehicle weight rating of over 10,000 pounds? We're going to say yes because we're going to be operating a truck tractor in this scenario. Do you receive payment for transporting only exempt goods such as ordinary livestock, fish, and other unmanufactured agricultural commodities? They're basically asking you here if you're only going to haul commodities that are exempt, like livestock or sometimes hay, as long as it's not been sprayed and stuff like that. Unless you're absolutely certain that you are only going to be hauling an exempt commodity, you should say no to this question. And especially a general freight hauler, we're going to be hauling all kinds of stuff that's exempt and non-exempt. Is your company owned or controlled greater than 55% by a Mexican citizen? We're going to say no. We're American owned or USA owned. Cargo classification. So this is where you want to choose the type of cargo that you're going to be hauling. Each one of these categories, I'm sure, is going to splice into smaller subcategories. So think about what you're going to be hauling and try to choose accordingly. And I will say on this page, guys, less is more. You don't want to go into this page thinking, well, if I don't pick it now, I'm never going to be able to haul it, so I might as well choose everything. That's not the right way to think about it. You want to choose the items on this page that you're 100% sure you're going to have a good opportunity to haul right out of the gate. For general freight, it's going to be this category right here for truck transportation categories. Activities of this sector are providing transportation of passengers and cargo, warehousing and storing goods, scenic and sightseeing transportation, and supporting these activities. So when I choose this category, again, there's several subcategories, and the first one is my general freight category that I was looking for. General freight, freight of all kinds, meaning supplies, goods, and transportable property not included in the below definition of household goods, liquids, gases, or commodities dry bulk. So I think this is the correct category for me. And again, if you're not sure, just choose one that you are most sure about and go with that one. Because if you do come across cargo or commodities that you haven't chosen on this form, maybe 2 or 3 months into your trucking business, you can always call and or go online and update this cargo carried section. So that's why I say less is more. Only choose things out of the gate that you're 100% certain you're going to be hauling. If you run into something different, or if you get opportunities or contracts in the future to haul something a little bit outside of what you've chosen, then you can always go in and update your MCS 150 to amend these categories. Again, for today, we're just going to go with general freight, freight of all kinds. We're going to do it out of Florida. Do you transport any cargo not described above? I'm going to say no, and we're going to move on to the next page. So this page is going to ask you basically what kind of vehicles are you going to be running with this trucking business. Again, for my scenario, we're doing a 1 tractor, 1 trailer policy with a full-size truck tractor and 1 dry van trailer. So the first section says, please provide the total number of non-commercial motor vehicles under 10,000 pounds you own, rent, and or lease. And we're going to say we don't have any under 10,000 pound vehicles in this company. So that's both going to be 0. A straight truck would be something like this, like a box truck that you would use for like a household goods move or something of that sort. For this scenario, I'm going to say we've got a full-size tractor such as this tractor or this tractor. So for the straight trucks, we're going to say we don't own any, we don't lease any. Truck tractor, we're going to say we own 1 truck tractor, we do not lease any. And for the trailers, we're going to say we own 1 dry van trailer and we do not lease any. The last question it asked down here is, do you have any vehicles that are not displayed? And we're going to say no. All right, and now it's on to the next. This page here, it looks a little bit confusing. They're basically trying to figure out how many people you have operating in your business and at what capacity. So are they operating in what radius, and are they operating interstate or intrastate? And you only want to fill out the categories that best describes what you're doing. So we're going to be a long haul trucker with 1 driver operating across state lines. So how many drivers will operate interstate? We're going to say within 100 air miles is 0. Outside of 100 air miles is 1. And we don't have anybody that's just operating intrastate. Intrastate just means inside the state that you're domiciled out of. So if we were intrastate, we would not be able to leave Florida. We want to be able to leave Florida and go to the 48. So we're going to say 1 interstate hauler beyond 100 air miles. How many CDL drivers do you have? Again, that's going to be 1. All right, so this page is summary of property information. We're going to read over it real quick. Company operations. Do you engage in interstate commerce? This is basically just all the questions we just answered. So it's giving you a little bit of a synopsis of what you've answered so far. And we went through all this. We went through the cargo classification. We did general freight. Any cargo that's not described above, we said no. We've got the vehicle information in here. By the total number of non-commercial vehicles, we have 0. We just went through this on the last page. Please provide the total number of commercial vehicles over 10,000 pounds you own, rent, or lease by type. There. So that is a 0, that is a 0, and we have 1 in here for truck tractor type. Sorry for the mix up there. I just wanted to double check on that. Truck tractors owned is 1. Trailers owned is 1. Vehicles not displayed, no. Let's see, how many drivers will operate interstate beyond 100 miles? We have 1. And how many CDL drivers do you have? We have 1. So that all looks good. We're going to go to the next section. Manage affiliations. Do you currently have or have you had within the last 3 years of the date of this application relationships involving common stock, common ownership, common management, common control, or familial relationship with any FMCSA regulated entities? This question is basically to ask you, have you in the past signed up for a DOT number or operated a trucking company regulated by the FMCSA, or did you work at a trucking company that had a familial connection? Basically, if you have any other entities that you've been involved with from a managerial standpoint that have been registered or regulated by the FMCSA in the past, you should say yes here. For this scenario, I have not. I'm going to act like I'm a brand new trucker. It's the first time we're applying for a DOT number, so I'm going to say no. Okay, guys, this is the page I'm going to stop on because if I went any further, I'd basically be affirming that everything I put in that application was correct, and I made up a bunch of the information because we were doing it as an example. So we're going to stop here. If you look over here on this left side, the next screen is literally where you would make your payment for the application, and then supposedly the last step here would be to get your actual USDOT number. So we're going to stop here. I think that gives you just a good overview of how you would go in, how you would get started, and how you would go through filing for your own DOT number. Once you get filed, then the next step is insurance. So if you need anything from us, just give us a call at Barbee Jackson Insurance. We'll be happy to run you a quote, 850-389-2001.
Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a video. See you on the next one.